Do y'all like a broccoli, rice, and cheese casserole? I know I do. I adore it. This recipe I'm bringing you today is going to include the chicken, so it's a one-pot wonder, a complete meal. This one is a subscriber request, so shout out to Tina from Oklahoma. Hi, Tina. If you don't want to include the chicken, just leave it out. It's great without it. It's wonderful with it. I hope y'all enjoy this one. Hey, y'all, I'm Kareth. Welcome to the Freeze-Dried Foodie. My mom always made this casserole at Thanksgiving and at Christmas. So it was kind of a special thing for our family because we didn't have it very often, even though we loved it. Her recipe included either a can of cream of chicken soup or a can of cream of mushroom soup. I'm going to substitute out those flavors with different things. I'm also including an optional butter cracker topping, which is fantastic. If you don't want to do that, you could always do what my mom used to do, which was to top this casserole with some extra grated cheddar cheese, and then she would broil it at the end. So that is delicious as well. I've got some really yummy seasonings that we're going to add to this to make this a delicious casserole. I start with a quart-sized jar because I am making 3 servings of this. If you wanted to only make 1 or 2, you could definitely cut this in half and use a pint-sized jar. I'm starting with an uncooked medium grain rice. You could use a long grain rice or a jasmine or a basmati. And then to that, I'm going to add the broccoli. Our Thrive Life broccoli is so good. The cheddar, I always blitz it in the blender because it melts a lot better. My mom always put celery and onions in her casserole, and so I'm including 1/4 cup of celery. I like to crush that because I think the pieces are just too big the way it comes in the can. I like to crush it or put it in the blender. I'm using 2 types of onions, but you could use all of one or the other. I'm including 3 tablespoons of the Thrive Life Velouté sauce, which is like a thick, rich chicken gravy. But don't worry if you don't have that. I've got a recipe on my Thanksgiving video for a chicken gravy. You could substitute that, or you could use some bechamel sauce and just a little extra chicken bouillon with that. Or if you really want to lean into the cheesy flavor, you could substitute 3 tablespoons of Thrive Life cheese sauce powder instead. As far as seasonings go, I've got salt, pepper, garlic powder, parsley, and some dry mustard. Now I'm not putting too much salt in here just because the chicken bouillon powder that I put in there has some salt in there, as well as the velouté sauce. As always, I will include my full recipe in the description box below, as well as my shopping link in case you want to pick up any of these items. Isn't that just a lovely jar? And this is what you would store on your pantry shelf. And if you want to include the optional cracker topping, just make sure you have a sleeve of those butter crackers alongside it. And when you're ready to prepare it, you'll get out a large skillet. And this is a very easy recipe. Again, it's a just add water recipe. I call them a dump and go recipe. It's super simple. You dump the ingredients into the skillet, add the water, give it a good stir. I used about 3.5 cups of water. I figured out that it really depends on your elevation as to how much water and how long it takes to cook this stuff. So for me here in South Texas, I used 3.5 cups of water, and I said in the recipe that it's 1 cup of rice, which it is. That's what I put in there. But I had run out of measuring cups. I had run out of clean measuring cups, so I only showed you putting in 3/4 cup, but I added the other 1/4 cup off camera. So what I did was I brought this up to a boil over medium heat. Not anything higher than that because it's got the cheese in there. You don't want it to curdle or break. So medium heat, bring it to a boil, then cover it and don't peek. Leave it alone for like 20 minutes and let that rice cook. Meanwhile, in a separate skillet, I melted 3 or 4 tablespoons of butter. And if you'll just cook it a couple of minutes longer, leave it on medium heat, let it cook a little bit longer, and this is what happens. The milk solids in the butter, they will brown, and the flavor is so good. It's this kind of intense, nutty flavor. Oh, y'all, it's so good. If you'll take just a couple of extra minutes to brown your butter, you will not be sorry. It's worth it. When it gets browned, pull it off the heat and then add your crushed butter crackers. I crushed them in the sleeve and I used 2 of the mini sleeves. You could use 1 full sleeve if that's what you have. But just give it a good stir. Make sure all those crackers are completely coated in that yummy brown butter, and then set it aside. It's ready. And after about 20 minutes of cooking time on low heat, this is what your broccoli, rice, and cheese casserole will look like. The rice will be completely tender, and it will have absorbed so much of that liquid. Your sauce will be nice and thick. And yeah, there's your broccoli, rice, and cheese casserole with chicken. And like I said, if you don't want to include the chicken in here, it doesn't need it. You can just leave it out. I really enjoyed it because it made a complete meal for us. We had this with just a side salad, and it was fantastic. I like leaving the cracker topping separate because it stays crunchy, and also people can add just as much as they like to their serving. So there it is, our broccoli, rice, and cheese with chicken casserole. I just thought it turned out beautifully. It's so delicious. I think, oh, if you try this, you're gonna love it. I think my mama would be proud. I mentioned my mom quite a bit on this channel, but I have never had the chance to share with you. My mom passed away when I was pregnant with my first child. So as you can imagine, that was a very difficult time, and it's been a little more than 20 years now. But God is good, and He sustained me through it, and I just have such wonderful memories of my mom, and I'm so thankful for her for so many reasons. It's mostly her recipes that I bring you on this channel. So I'm just thinking about all the moms out there. We're celebrating Mother's Day here in America this weekend. And so whether you're a mom or if you're like a mom to someone, I'm wishing you a very happy Mother's Day. Thank you for watching my videos. Thank you for tuning into my channel. And I hope you are enjoying my recipes. So thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate you. God bless you, and until next time, y'all take care and keep thriving.